Hi, welcome to the Holding Hands and Throwing Fists podcast. I got the mic.
And I have the opinions.
Welcome to season 9, episode 7. Let's go, babe.
This feels like it might be a little too long for my liking, but the people like it. You like it. I guess I'll have to deal.
What do you mean? Just in general?
I'm just looking at the notes and I'm wondering.
All right, let's get right into it then. We're going to start off with a topic that everyone in the UFC sphere and business sphere are talking about. WME Endeavor's acquisition of the WWE. It's still a WWF to me. I don't care what anyone says. The official Holding Hands and Throwing Fists opinion here is whatever, man. Cool. Kind of lame, but all right. That's it. Never really was the biggest wrestling fan, but I did want to share my favorite WWE moments in history. So first, we're going to start off with my immigrant-ass dad hating wrestling, not because it was fake, not because it was too violent or over the top. He hated it because people used weapons like barbed wire and 2x4s and chairs, and that's not how a man fights.
I kind of am with him on that.
The one pay-per-view I was ever allowed to buy was WrestleMania 10. For context, this past weekend was WrestleMania 39.
Gross.
Bret the Hitman Hart body slammed Yokozuna, and that is pretty much a highlight for me in my life.
You're like speaking another language. There's absolutely nothing I have to add to any of this.
Yokozuna was a big sumo guy, and Bret Hart picked him up and slammed him. My brother and I playing the WCW Nitro game on N64, which had the entire NWO cast. That was pretty sick. Number 4 in my favorite wrestling things that nobody cares about. Andreas telling me that he and his brother Chris loved it, and even though I didn't know them yet and they were too young, I could still very vividly picture them in my mind's eye so clearly that they were doing the same shit that Billy and I were around the house.
Sure.
During the Attitude Era with Stone Cold, my godfather and I got free tickets from a family friend so we could go see an event in MSG. This 8-year-old kid was shirtless, giving the finger to all the wrestlers and screaming "fuck you" in front of his parents. And I was probably 16 at the time, and my godfather and I both looked at each other and we were like, "Let's get out of here." And
Did you actually leave?
We did.
Oh my god!
And we went to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
Oh, stop!
Yeah, it was pretty excellent.
Classy guys.
Oh yeah, only take an Irish girl to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and she thinks that you're classy. So I wrote these things down, but now I'm going to get to the real Holding Hands and Throwing Fists opinion here because, babe, you're not the only person with opinions here. The WWE and the UFC deserve each other because they are equal pieces of shit and take advantage of their talent. I mentioned Bret the Hitman Hart, and what started this was thinking about his brother, Owen Hart, who died during an accident at a WWE event in 1999, and the WWE famously continued the event and didn't stop it. There are countless stories of the WWE fucking over their talent without remorse or repercussions, and increasingly the UFC is the same. All these people should be taken care of properly for what they put themselves through, and I say fuck off to them all. Also, don't forget the parallels between Dana White and Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon even worse because he basically kind of had to step down because of multiple reports of sexual assault and allegations, and then he kind of snuck back in to get this sale happen. But now he's technically, I think, both Dana and maybe Ari Emanuel's boss. Definitely Dana. So what the fuck? They're all a bunch of losers. They all deserve each other. And even though I enjoy watching the UFC, I'm aware of how conflicted I am, and fuck them.
My jaw is on the floor. I always have the opinions, and you often think I go too far, and you regularly pray that whoever I'm talking shit about doesn't hear, because they will kick our asses. Wow.
Well, you talk shit about people that literally have been to my gym. Yeah, you have.
Name
I will not. I'm talking shit about fucking Vince McMahon, dude.
Babe, I love this
What
shit.
the fuck is Vince McMahon gonna do to us?
You got that real mom guilt in there too. They deserve each other.
They call me BJ, Bella Jr.
They do call you that. I think it's time actually to get the fuck away from UFC for a moment.
You better move on. Quit stalling.
I'm gonna move on to last weekend. So we didn't give you the preview for any of these fights because you know what? We didn't fucking feel like it.
Yeah, take that, Scott Coker.
Here we go. Bellator was on Friday night and we didn't watch any of it because the card didn't seem so great. And along with that, it started so damn late. Prelims started at 7. The only thing you need to know about Bellator that night was that Lucas Brennan won.
Hey!
John Salter won.
That's my boy.
Kat Zingano beat our girl, Leah McCourt.
Boo!
So, yeah, the only thing hopefully about it is that she'll fight Chris Cyborg next, and that could be interesting.
I'm going to cut you off because John Salter is my boy. Because remember, I've told the story.
And I didn't talk shit about him
a million times that I drilled with him and partnered up with him at Marcelo's. And did you write these in the notes or here or whatever? But he retired after his last win.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
So good on him, yo. John Salter, shout out.
I love that.
You're a gentleman, and we've enjoyed watching your career over the years.
Great. PFL, come on. It was the first show of this season, and it was super exciting since the end of last PFL season was memorable, not just to us, but to anyone who's listening, I think, because we hosted our first Holding Hands and Throwing Fists field trip.
Fun.
So the card this Saturday was the first card of the new season. Now remember, fighters who are competing in the tournament are hoping to earn as many points as possible, which is 6 each fight, if they finish in the first round, down to only getting 3 points if they win, but it's a unanimous decision. So it's worth noting that the $1 million lightweight winner from last season, Robert Wilkinson, started this season with a win and 3 points. Way to go. Will Fleury, an Irish fighter, he's new to the PFL this season. He won and also got 3 points in the light heavyweight division.
Viva Ireland.
In the featherweight division, Bubba Jenkins, he was the runner-up last year. He earned 3 points, and Brendan Loughnane, who beat Bubba for the Millie last year, he earned 5 points by beating Marlon Moraes in the second round with leg kicks.
Oof.
This, we didn't really watch most of the PFL fights, but very, very notably, we had some killer MMA fashion coming out of PFL, and I don't think we have ever uttered those words before.
Hey, okay.
All three PFL commentators brought it. Kenny Florian, Sean O'Connell, and Randy Couture all looked fucking super fly, and they were all like the three of them next to each other were mixing patterns, but then within their own outfits, their ties and suit pattern, or their shirts and like little kerchiefs coming out of their pockets, like just very interesting stuff.
And it wasn't too much.
No, thankfully. Next, that
we're not going to post a picture of it.
Nope. Just take our word for it.
Yeah.
Boxing happened with Anthony Joshua. He had his first win since 2020 with a fight that went all 12 rounds. We don't really talk about boxing that much. Sometimes George gets into it, but you might remember us talking about him from years ago when Andy Ruiz, a man who did not look very fit or even look like he would even have a shot, actually beat Anthony Joshua. So Joshua ended up winning their immediate rematch, but then he lost 2 in a row, and last week he won again.
Oof.
And last, but certainly not least, something that I thought we were really going to talk way more about when it was announced. I thought we were going to talk way more about in the lead up, but we kind of just let it fizzle, and it feels like that's kind of just what happened to the event. It wasn't just us. Game Bred Boxing 4 happened. Game Bred Boxing is Jorge Masvidal's promotion. So when we had initially heard about all the former MMA fighters, we were pretty pumped about this card. However, I mean, it's a tale as old as time with Holding Hands and Throwing Fists now. It was really late, and so we didn't watch it. It cost $50 too, like kind of lame. But what you should know about it is that what?
We are basically both Tony Kornheiser in PTI now.
Yeah. You should know that Jose Aldo and Jeremy Stevens fought, and it ended in a draw. You happy about that, Gook?
I am. I really am. That's great news.
Vitor Belfort beat Jacare Sousa in the... Oh, and then in the main event, Anthony Pettis, you know him. He looks just like George's brother. He beat Roy Jones Jr. with a majority decision.
God dang.
While Roy is 54 years old now, he still is a legend in terms of boxing. I looked up his record, of course, because I don't know anything about boxing. And he has had 76 fights with 66 wins. It was a really big deal for Pettis to beat him in his debut boxing match. So, yay.
Babe, I don't know. I don't think you'll ever really realize how big of a deal Roy Jones Jr. was.
No,
for a minute, he really, really, really was the fucking most exciting fighter on the planet. And here he is losing to Anthony Pettis in Milwaukee. But all right, that's cool. We're going to talk about this weekend, and I was trying not to do extra work today because, just freaking worked out. But here we go. I'm going to talk about the UFC's pay-per-view event, UFC 287, this Saturday in Miami.
Welcome to Miami.
Wish I was in Miami right now.
I kind of felt the heat of the sun just listening to that song, so I'll take it.
There's a ton of name recognition on this fight and fight card, and I'm just totally excited for it. So we're going to start off with the prelims, right? So Michelle Waterson is fighting. She's still fighting in the UFC, question mark.
Yeah.
Sick. Michael Chiesa versus Li Jingliang was supposed to happen, but guess what, babe? I found out from the Leech's social media directly from himself that he broke his back. It's spinal.
Oh, no. That's awful.
Yeah, he has something really bad with his back, so he's going to be out of the fight, and now Chiesa announced that he's out, so that's a bummer.
That is.
But whatever. Chris Curtis versus Kelvin Gastelum is fighting, and I fucks with Kelvin heavy, so hoping that it's a great fight for them both. I actually like Chris Curtis's chances against him, but I just want it to be an exciting fight all the way around. I really like that. Moving to the main card quickly, Raul Rosas Jr. was born after my co-host here and I started dating, so I don't feel good about that for us, for him, or for anyone.
Me neither.
Honestly, I don't really like having him in the UFC at such a young age, and I'm not about it. I hope he looks good, and I'll keep an open mind about him, but I just, I don't know. It doesn't feel good to me.
And he's on the main card?
Yeah.
Wow.
And actually, I'm going to digress from the notes, but I saw on Twitter today that people were asking him because he's getting apparently a lot of hate on the internet, or not a hate, but like the usual amount of people being like, why are you on the main card? And he actually said, he clapped back pretty well, better than how I'm explaining it right now, where he was just like, everybody should just take notes from me instead of just complaining about it all the time.
All right. I wasn't even saying it like hating on him. I was just surprised.
Yeah.
It's only his second fight in the UFC, right?
That's what happens with the UFC, though. They do that shit.
Yeah, they do that
and
shit.
They don't care what happens to them. So it's my one little bit of advice to you, my friend. Make sure you got all your bases covered. Kevin Holland's fighting Santiago Ponzinibbio, and this is where things start to get really interesting in the card. If you're a Holding Hands listener, both of these guys have been on our radar since day one. Remember, we started this in 2019. Don't get it twisted. We ride heavy for Kevin Holland, but Santiago has been one of our guys for a while as well. I'm really excited for this, but I do have to say, I think this may be one of those cringy fights where things keep going back and forth, and weird things happen as they talk to each other in the ring.
Oh, no. I hope not.
I hope not, but I digress again because I saw on MMA Twitter today that Kevin Holland and Jorge Masvidal got into a shouting match in the hotel lobby. There's always something with all of these guys. It's just whatever. And
it's not even that we don't like that shit. We enjoy a little bit of entertainment.
Yeah.
But
too much, no good.
Too much, no good.
Ha ha, pretty soon, boo-hoo.
Exactly.
Famously from Scrubs. But, dude, Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez. Is that how you say his last name? I
heard someone say Yanez today.
Your boy Yanez.
Yeah.
Oof, I made some delicious homemade tzatziki, by the way. But I, as you know, babe, I put too much garlic and onion in it, and I'm burping it up right now.
Disgusting.
So this is honestly the fight that I'm probably most excited for. I don't even know how this is not a main or co-main event on something else, but both these guys deservingly have a ton of hype, and I honestly don't know who to favor. But I'm excited to see it.
I was just listening a little about both of these guys, and we know them, and I actually am going to put my foot down for Rob Font. I want Rob Font to win.
All right, I'm going to take Adrian then.
Perfect.
Gilbert Burns versus Jorge Masvidal. Babe, who the hell are you rooting for in this one? We were Masvidal supporters, and then he turned out to do some stuff that we don't support, though honestly, none of it was that serious. Like John Jones serious. But he's fighting in his hometown, and this is an absolute must-win for him. So, I don't know, I'm kind of rooting for him, but also Gilbert has been someone that we've been rooting for a while, too. So maybe this is a case of we want both to win. I don't even know. I just know I'm mad excited for this fight, too.
I would like to make this one we want both to win.
Okay. Gilbert still's growing out his cute little afro.
I was wondering about that.
Everybody's a fan, so that's it.
Everyone but me.
Alex Pereira is fighting Israel Adesanya. This will be the fourth time that these two men fight between kickboxing and MMA combined, and Alex has won all three. This is a huge fight with a ton of implications. You know, we're big Stylebender fans, and while we want him to win, we don't want Alex to not win. So I'm straight up torn. I do have to give the edge to Alex, though. I think it's just one of those cases where he has Israel's number. We rewatched the last fight just the other night, and while Stylebender was a surgeon, when Alex touched him up, it was just with power over and over and over again. And it really only takes one shot, but enough about fighting, babe.
No fighting. No fucking fighting. No fighting. No fucking fighting!
That is a pro level segue, let me tell you.
That was. All right. Everyone. Survivor season 44 has started. If you know us, you know we've become big Survivor fans.
Huge.
I've always loved it, but then, you know, you stop watching when something makes it fucking 44 seasons. But then a few years ago, actually quite a few years ago, not only did we get back into watching the current season that was out together, maybe somewhere around season 35, we went back and rewatched seasons minimally 1 through 18. Like,
without doubt. That was a pandemic binge for us.
Every episode. It had started before the pandemic, I think, which was good. We were already in. And we had the best time. However, we forgot when this season started, so we're already 5 episodes behind. But we wanted to recommend you all to watch it, and we want to make our picks. This weekend, we only watched 1 episode. That was the most binge watching we could get through, was sitting through a full episode. So here's what I think, babe. We've met everyone in all 3 tribes. You're going to pick the 3 people you think will make it to the final 6. And at some point later in this season, we'll catch up and tell our friends on how we're doing.
All right. Carson is a young dork that created spreadsheets to help him in strategy. And just like you said when we were watching it, babe, every season has one of these dorks. That being said, he gained 30 pounds to be on the show because he was so skinny. And I think he has a decent level of self-awareness. So I see a path for him to make the top 6 as long as he doesn't fuck up.
Okay.
I don't even remember seeing Sarah, which I think is a good sign. She seems all right in this handy link that you shared. So I think she could slide on by through the merge.
I don't remember her.
I don't remember her either.
Have anything?
Nothing.
No? Okay.
Nothing.
That's a good reason.
I don't even care about my 3rd pick, so I'm going to just ignore it. But all I know is that it looks like Franny and Matt got something going on. And it's been a minute since we've had a Survivor romance. So let's go.
Yo, that's so true. Okay. I like these picks. I made my picks as well. I'm going to start with Yam Yam. From the moment he came on the screen, I knew I liked him. All I got to say is Puerto Rico.
Oh.
Definitely rooting for him. Number 2 for my Survivor picks is Danny. I have to go with the guy from New York. And right now, unlike George's picks, my top two picks are people that I just like, which never means they're going to succeed. So I think we'll update you on our picks eventually, but I also think when things get narrowed down a bit more, I'm going to make my real picks. Like, I don't know anyone's strategy yet. I need to feel them out a little bit more to really feel who could be a contender.
One of these days, even if we get up to episode 1500, we're gonna blow up, and who knows, it might be because we're the Ultimate Survivor podcast.
Maybe. My last pick is either Matthew or Heidi. I can't really pick one. I'll tell you, Matthew, one, I love his name. And he's also the oldest guy this season, and he owns a barber shop. And Heidi is the only fucking person in her tribe who knew how to make fire.
Hey.
I'm not picking one. This was my idea for this week. I get 4 picks. Take that.
And we'll leave you all with that. Continue to hold hands and throw fists if necessary. And special shout out, this episode was brought to you by our brand new Baby G's. We love you. Cannot wait to meet you.